Tommy, how are you?
Doing fine. How are you?
Good. You had occasion to go to Atlanta a couple days ago, and you got to take in the new Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And judging by the pictures on your timeline, pretty impressive venue.
It's the most impressive stadium in the world. I think maybe there's something from an Olympics recently that could rival it, but I doubt it. Jerry Jones is playing for second place now once that thing opens, which will be very shortly here. It is very fan friendly. It has more amenities than. It's just an attractive place to play. I'm a guy that's like, keep the Georgia Dome. Now that I've seen what they've done with this for $1.5 billion, I can see why they did it. It is state of the art.
Yeah, $1.5 billion is a hefty price tag, so I'm looking forward to seeing it myself. Tom, I wanted to have you on for a couple reasons. The first, you have a podcast up in which you lay out some reasons why you think Alabama is in good position to win another national championship this year. Kind of lay that out for us.
Yeah, and you can find that on TideSports.com. There's your unabashed plug. But, I mean, one of the reasons is of the talent, obviously. Alabama has stockpiled talent better than anyone else and has won, I don't know how many recruiting championships in a row. And in the last one they did win, they were in the top 2 or 3, I think. So, they've got more talent than anybody else. They're deeper in that talent. So when somebody goes down, they've got another talented player to plug in. And then the second reason was Nick Saban. I mean, he's the gold standard. He's the best coach and built the best program in college football. So I think that was it. And the third reason was basically the Alabama brand. I think they do intimidate people. I think when people maybe get too keyed up to play them sometimes, and just knowing that you're playing Alabama, I think puts the other team. It gives them incentive because you got the target on your back, but it's also like you don't tug on Superman's cape. So that's kind of where I arrived at that.
And if you want to find that podcast, and we're going to be featuring more and more every week as we get rolling into the season, is up at TideSports.com. Again, if you're interested in listening to that podcast. Can they listen? Will this be on iTunes, Tommy? People can download?
Yeah, I believe that's right. You can access it. I think it's posted on Tide Sports. And if you just click that link, I think it'll take you to it.
Okay. In terms of some news we broke last night, Alabama in negotiations to play Miami again in Atlanta. It seems like Alabama's setting up shop in Atlanta, and this is really nothing new. Nick Saban's done it in Arlington a couple of times. He likes Atlanta. They're going to Orlando to open the season next year, and it's not more than 5 minutes when that story was posted, Tommy. I had people screaming on my timeline. They're sick of these things. The fans are. They want some home and homes. Do you ever think there's going to come a point? We have HD televisions. We've got our homes where our refrigerators are, and we don't have to pay exorbitant amounts for concessions. And at what point does Alabama have to start considering the fans, or is it, as you mentioned, that brand just too big and the money's just too great to turn away?
I think it's you're talking about a multi-layered thing. I think across college and NFL football, attendance is going to be a challenge because of the stay-at-home and watch it on HD TV factor. And I don't think that has to do with scheduling, quite frankly. I think that'll be for Alabama, LSU as well. It's a chore to go to a game live with parking and crowds and all that. Even for us, when we get parking passes and things like that, it's just the traffic you fight. And the experience you get watching on TV where you can see all the replays very clearly. There are people who see things that me and you don't see when we're in the press box because they see the 11th replay from some odd angle that we don't get, or maybe, we have to go get real close to a TV to see that sometimes while they're reviewing things. The Atlanta Stadium actually is, I think, the wave of the future. I think it's going to be a game changer because they're really looking at things like improving the internet experience, and having your Wi-Fi and having your devices working there. They've got more miles of fiber optic cable in there. They got TVs everywhere you go. If you buy a drink there for like $2, soft drink, you can refill that at stations, just like everywhere you look, there's fountain things where you can refill it as many times as you want. And and they've done the fan-friendly pricing, so you're not paying $7 for a bottle of water that you can get at a convenience store for $2. You're paying $2. So I think that's the way it's going to go. I think there's a model there, but that's only part of the solution because, again, you can stay home and watch on TV, but I would like home and homes. I understand that feeling, and I would like them, but I also understand that you can make, the money you make for playing those at $5 million or whatever they pay you now for these kind of games where you get a home date one year, but you have one less home game the next year, and you make zero off of that game. So it's like playing half a home game gate-wise as far as money generated-wise. And, everybody wants those things, and I'm not sure they would be as happy about them if Alabama goes on the road and plays a home and home with Oklahoma and split. I don't remember everybody when Alabama did play Oklahoma home and home or NC State and all saying, wow, I'm really so glad that we're playing a home and home with Oklahoma because they lost. They lost both of them. And eventually Alabama's not going to be the 3,000-pound gorilla where they're going to win every game. So it didn't matter who you played or where. There are some games, if Alabama were playing Florida State in Tallahassee, I think there would be a better chances that Florida State would win.
Talking to Tommy Deas, executive sports editor for the Tuscaloosa News. You can follow him on Twitter at Tommy Deas. That's Deas. Alabama in negotiations, as we reported, to play Miami. What do you think of that game? It's been, by the time that game rolls around, just 2021, nearly 3 decades, believe it or not, since those two teams previously met. And, they've actually have a history of playing each other that dates back, I think, to the 50s. Mark Richt there, who knows if he'll be the coach, who knows if Nick Saban will be the coach in Alabama in 2021. It's a long way off, but it's an intriguing matchup right now.
Yeah, I like it. Absolutely, I like it. It's a name we haven't seen on Alabama's schedule in a while. And, the last time they played, of course, was for a national championship. But though they have played off and on, but Miami was kind of a homecoming opponent for some of that period of time and obviously became a brand name. Yeah, I like it. I like to see different names on that schedule. I like, when Alabama played Michigan, especially, programs with real brand names. I'm not as hyped for the Louisville game in Orlando, which is just an odd place to put that, as I might have been for seeing Alabama and Southern Cal, which turned out to be not a great game. But, it was exciting to just see that because they hadn't played in forever. So, yes, I like big names. I like brand names. I want Alabama and Notre Dame. And if they can't, and the difficulty of that is that NBC owns Notre Dame's game. And there's a lot of resistance to giving that away to a rival network from either CBS or ESPN/ABC. So that's a more difficult one. But maybe if you could make it a neutral site game where they play twice, like Notre Dame and I think Wisconsin are going to play, and play one of them in Chicago and one of them in Atlanta. Maybe there's a way to work that out, but I sure would like to see that one happen again.
Yeah, and you wonder if that game might get easier now that the ACC is kind of involved with. I mean, Notre Dame's not a full member of the ACC, but they do have some scheduling similarities with the ACC. I believe they play so many of their teams every year.
Yeah, but the problem is the network situation.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you get around that.
Tommy, staying local here, how many weeks are we away from the high school football kickoff?
Well, Tuscaloosa Christian plays on the road tomorrow night. They play 8-man football, and that's the first game. We won't be going on the road to cover them, but the next Thursday, next week on Thursday, there's a handful of games, and then there'll be a full slate on Friday. So usually on the opening weekend and the last weekend of the regular season, there's a fair amount of Thursday night games. So we'll have that, and you'll have several teams local at home and some good rivalry games and things like that. And it's an exciting time of year. I like it when high school kicks off, and I'm especially grateful when it doesn't kick off the same weekend Alabama's opening. Yeah,
no kidding. One of the most anticipated products you guys that we rather do at the Tuscaloosa News, hard work by Joey Chandler and her staff and you and the group of photographers, is the high school preview section. I'll have a lot of people ask about that. When is that coming out? When people can go to the Tuscaloosa News or their local newsstand and pick that up?
That will be in next Thursday's edition. So basically the first night of full high school football slate. You can pick that up in your Tuscaloosa News, or you can come to our office and get one. And It will preview all, I think it's 39 now, football playing schools in our area. We lost one when Sumter Academy in York shut down. But, whether it's public, private, we've got a preview on every team.
Wrapping up here with Tommy Deas, executive sports editor for the Tuscaloosa News. Again, you can follow him on Twitter at Tommy Deas, Deas. Tommy, I know you're working on a project, and you need the public's help with it. Tell us a little bit about it, and tell our listeners how to participate in this project.
Yeah, we're basically taking a look, in our target date to publish this because it's so involved. We were out doing interviews this morning, as a matter of fact. Basically, should your kid play football? And we're going to look at not just concussions. It's not just a concussion story. It's everything involved from health and injury to social things that are positive. That you get out of football, and a big part of that is we are surveying people. And if you go to Facebook and go to the Tuscaloosa News page, you can click on the survey. It's pinned right at the top and participate. And we are now up to, I think, 200 responses with that so far, and we would like to have more. But it takes maybe 2-3 minutes to fill out the survey online, and a little information. You can opt to allow yourself to be contacted, or to say, no, I don't want you to contact me, and still fill it out so we can use the information. But it's very interesting, some of the comments and some of the numbers we're generating.
Now, if the listeners out there want to help you out and take this survey, where do they find it? And you said it only takes 2 to 3 minutes, so it's not really time intrusive on your day. Where do they find it, and how do they go about participating?
Yeah, go to Facebook and find the Tuscaloosa News page, and it is pinned right at the top of that. And if you look, there's a Tuscaloosa News business listing, which is not an active page, that just tells you our address and stuff. And I think Facebook does that itself. I don't think we did that, but you just go to Facebook and look up the Tuscaloosa News. You can find what is obviously our page, and right there pinned at the top. Maybe scroll down under a couple of things, but very near the top you will see the survey, should your kid play football, and you can click on that and take the survey.